It's supposed to feel.
Good evening. Welcome to another NS9 Postgame Show. I'm Jim. With me is Tyler. Pirates lose again. It's their 10th loss in 11 games tonight by the score of 6-3. Game one of a 3-game set against the Baltimore Orioles. Tyler, these were so fun. These were so fun last month, and now it's like we're back to last year where it was like, do we really got to do a post-game show?
Yeah, I can feel it at this point. I'm glad I made it to the first week of May before I started not wanting to talk about them after a game. It's been a rough one. It's been a rough couple weeks, and I think the frustrating part to me right now is that they're not this bad of a team. They're not a good team. Top to bottom, the talent's not great, but they're not this bad. This is bad.
Yeah, I mean, the worst team in the history of baseball doesn't typically lose 10 out of 11 games, like on average. This is absurd what's happening right now. And it just kind of goes back to a lot of the same things kind of just reappeared tonight. I want to start with just how stupid the team was again. Like, I mean, Jimothy brings it up here. It was a very poorly played and managed baseball game from like the 6th inning on. I'm not entirely sure what the Pirates were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, let's start off with, I mean, before we get to that, Johan Oviedo pitched well. It was nice to see him rebound. He kind of looked shaky in the beginning of the game. First inning, allowed some runners dance through raindrops. But he settled in, went 5 scoreless, did give up a run in the 6th before he got pulled. Moretta did a really good job of cleaning up the mess that kind of was put on the base paths in the 6th. But a lot of it's just not enough strikes today from Oviedo to really say that it was like a really good start. He threw 44 strikes in his 86 pitches, 5 walks and 5 innings, 4 hits. Like I said, he kind of danced through trouble all night, but he left the game and he had a 1-0 lead when he left the game, right? So, you know, all in all, a pretty good start from him. And then Moretta again. Moretta's been excellent. Great job coming in the 6th, cleaning things up. He let the 1 run on third score, but you know, with coming in with a runner on third, nobody out, I'm good with you giving up 1 run. So the 6th inning ends, Pirates tied 1-1. And then they take the lead in the 7th. Connor Joe solo homer in the 7th. Pirates are back on top. And this is where things started to get stupid, right? Like Connor Joe homers puts you on top 2-1, right?
Right.
Ji-Hwan Bae gets on base with 2 outs in the inning. Austin Hedges is now up with a runner on first. Me and you were talking during the game.
Yep.
At this point in time, you take that win. Like you take the win. Hey, Ji-Hwan Bae, congratulations. Thank you for getting on base. Austin Hedges now gets to end the 7th instead of leading off the 8th with basically an automatic out. Thank you for turning the lineup over, right. Ji-Hwan Bae. Great job.
It's the old Jordy Mercer. Bat him ace so he can get you behind over the pitcher here.
But guess what? That's not what happened. And you know what sucks? You know what sucks is this team's playing so poorly right now that it's like we knew what was going to happen. Before it happened, I tweeted out, like, you got to just, like, don't be aggressive here. Take the win. Don't do anything dumb. Just let Hedges make his out and turn the lineup over. What happens?
Well, first what happens is they take the lefty out, which just made it so obvious that G1 was going to run there. Gets thrown out. Austin Hedges has to lead off. Just, it's not good baseball. And I'll be honest, it's not great managing in general to have G1 hitting 8th. You're just limiting his one skill set because you probably don't want him running a lot of the times with Austin Hedges behind him.
Yeah.
It completely makes his, lack of bunting ability obsolete because there's no reason to bunt with G1. It's just that mistake was made before the game and then compounded even worse.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go back to that. I mean, replay showed the G1 was probably safe, right? But again, like, that's not the point. Like, the point is take your small win. Don't do anything dumb. And they did something dumb. They put the outcome of the game in someone else's hands other than themselves. Umpire called Bay out. Like I said, it looked like he was safe, but also the Pirates were out of challenges because they challenged a stupid play the previous half inning. So, so here we
Jim,
are.
a play that on no planet will get overturned.
Never.
That is a pure judgment call. They're not overturning that.
Never would have been overturned to begin with. They challenge it. They just throw their challenge away so that when they actually need it in the 7th, they don't have one, right? So again, another blunder by just the manager, Derek Shelton. So let's head to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Pirates 2-1 lead. We're feeling good. We need 9 outs and we get the win, right? Off day yesterday. Pitchers should be pretty, pitchers should be well rested. 1-run game, 7th, 8th, 9th. There's no reason not to go. Stevenson, Holderman, Bednar. And I know Jose Hernandez has been pitching pretty well, but 1-run game in the 7th against a really good Baltimore Orioles baseball team, and you're turning to a Rule 5 pick. Again, like we talked about this last night. The reason why the Pirates were so successful in April is because they were putting people in a position. We were putting people in a position to be successful. Jose Hernandez on a 1-run game in the 7th inning against a 24-13 Baltimore Orioles team, the top of their lineup against a guy who hit for the cycle, against Adley Rutschman. Like, you're putting him in against guys who are very good hitters, and they don't go with their best option. They go with the Rule 5 pick, and it's really, I mean, Hernandez just, quite frankly, he doesn't get the job done, right? He gives up 2 base runners. They both end up scoring. There's your lead. Blown right there in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Orioles now on top. Dwayne Underwood Jr. comes in, kind of cleans it up a little bit, cleans up the mess. It's a 1-run game. But then you leave Underwood in for the 8th. It's a 1-run game. You're leaving him in. He's clearly not looking good. He's continuing to put runners on base. He walks 2 batters. And then he gives up the dagger.
And then you continue to leave him in the game.
3-run homer, dagger, Cedric Mullins completes the cycle. And at that point, it's 6-2. This offense hasn't scored more than 2 runs once in the last 12 games. At this point, game's over. And all of this, it's just, we go back to the little things. The little things they're not doing correctly. And it's, whether it's not get caught stealing, whether it's moving runners over, whether it's knocking in runs that are on base, whether it's using the right guys at the right time,
whether it's knocking a ground ball down.
That was my next thing
a
there.
Guy on second base.
Rodolfo Castro letting a ball get through into the outfield that just absolutely has to get knocked down. But again, we can harp on Castro for that. He should have he should have kept that ball in the infield. But it also just goes back to, why is Rodolfo Castro playing shortstop in a 2-run game when you've got your guy who you brought up to play shortstop sitting on the bench? He's sitting on the bench in a close game. He's there for his defense. The only reason why Chris Owings is on this team is to play shortstop. This is a perfect time for him to play shortstop, is late in a game that's close. And instead you go to a guy who is not a shortstop and he doesn't make the play. So
If you do not use Chris Owings in that situation, why is he on this team? There's just so much that has happened. Just going back to Hernandez, I can get it if they have some lefties coming up. You have switch hitters coming up. Just go with your dudes there. That one doesn't work out. You mentioned the Owings thing. They're striking out in huge spots. The good teams in Major League Baseball do little things really well. And the Pirates were doing that. Something flipped. I don't know what it was, but everything that was going right has just completely stopped. Also, going back to the whole Owings thing, they've lost, 10 out of 11? Your high leverage guys have hardly thrown.
Yeah.
What are you saving them for right now?
I mean, Holderman and Bednar have pitched, twice in the last 2 weeks. They're well rested. Like, this is a game that you have an opportunity to win. Use your dudes.
And you go to your sixth or seventh arm.
And then they leave their sixth and seventh arm in the close game to keep it a close game, and they can't do it.
And then they go to their fifth arm after him.
And then you finally have some life in the ninth, which, you know what, maybe would have been fun had the 3-run homer never happened, but it did. So therefore, the little life that we did see in the ninth, who cares? By that point, the game was over. Bautista comes in, with runners on the corners, and he just strikes out the side in 13 pitches to end it. So
the one glimmer of hope out of that is that they had to use Bautista, so maybe he won't be available in one of these next 2 games. I don't know. Maybe if we want to get a little bit silver lining here.
Dwayne Underwood needs to be the next guy off this team. I'm done with them. I'm done with them, Tyler. Give me someone else.
Yeah,
give me Cody Bolton over Dwayne Underwood Jr.
Give me Yuri De Los Santos.
Give me anybody. Give me somebody.
There's guys in the minors I could throw right now.
Dwayne Underwood Jr. is just a guy with what happens to be like a rubber arm because he just throws 2 innings every time he goes out there. He looks like shit every single time for the most part. He has glimpses where he looks good. Like he threw a really nasty changeup to get his 1 strikeout tonight, but then looks terrible the rest of the night. His ERA is up to 5.40 now. Now that DeYoung's gone, Dwayne Underwood Jr. is the bottom of the totem pole on that bullpen.
Yeah, and it's not all Dwayne Underwood Jr.'s fault. He should never have to go out for a second inning. Another thing Shelton was doing well was limiting him to a 1-inning role, and we saw him kind of be effective in April. Now we're back to using Dwayne Underwood Jr. just like he used to be. The guy can't throw 2 innings. He can barely throw 1. If he gets out of 1, let's not play with fire.
And again, it goes back to, why is he even in the game? Why is the Pirates had a chance to win this game, and none of their top 3 relievers pitched? None of them. They went 0 for 3 on using their best relievers.
I guess I just don't understand Derek Shelton's mentality in general. The way he picks and chooses games that he's going to go after is just so random. The only guy I've ever seen that will burn David Bednar for 53 pitches and then come back and not use him in a 1-run game. Why the hell has this guy got a contract extension? That's a NS9 Live topic.
Yeah, and I will say this. I think today was kind of the first game of the year where I really got upset with Shelton. I feel like he's done a pretty decent job for the most part, other than just the complete lack of fundamentals that we've been seeing. But I blame that almost more on the roster construction than the management.
Because you don't have a center fielder or a shortstop.
Yeah, this team is lacking players at positions where they need them. So, I mean, you think of you need the middle of your field to be strong. You need center field, shortstop, second base, pitcher, catcher to be strong. Like those are your most important positions on the field. Pitcher, again, pitching staff's been fine. Catch, I don't even want to get. That's another thing that how do we even mention it? Austin Hedges blocks the ball and it just sits there 2 feet from the plate and he can't find it and another run scored. Oh my God, there's too many stupid things happen tonight. But again, this team doesn't have a shortstop. This team doesn't have a center fielder. I have been impressed with Jack Sawinski in center field. So like he's
doing a fine job, but they don't have an actual like really good defender that can play center field.
And as far as like whoever rotates in second base, like Ji-hwan Bae has shown that he's not a good defensive second baseman. Castro seems like he's fine over there. Marcano's fine over there. But you are going to struggle when you don't have someone who can play shortstop. And that's what we've seen. We've seen so many issues. The Mitch Keller start against Tampa Bay, lack of a shortstop cost them. This game, lack of a shortstop cost them runs. Wednesday's game, lack of a shortstop cost them runs. Just not having someone who can play that position and make the plays that they need to make is costing this team. And that's just another thing that's just snowballing with all the other little things that isn't happening. And all those little things not happening has turned into a complete disaster, which is now 10 of 11 losses. The Brewers are up 3-1 right now in the 7th. So the Pirates most likely no longer in first place after tonight, if that score holds.
Yeah, I think the most frustrating thing about the shortstop situation is that you can live with a Rodolfo Castro or Ji-hwan Bae or a Marcano playing shortstop in a small stint. They knew O'Neal Cruz was out for like 4 months. They've just refused to address it. And it's very frustrating. It's probably the most important position on the field outside of probably pitcher and catcher. And they've just completely ignored it. They ignored it all offseason. If we are saying this team needs a backup shortstop, we are dummies. And they just ignored it.
And we talked about it all spring. Like this team needs somebody who can play shortstop to spell Cruz, or if something happens to Cruz, and then something happens to Cruz, and they got by for a couple weeks.
It's been a month, Jim. They still don't have a shortstop.
They've got Chris Owings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, like, you've got to put unless you're going to go out there and find somebody, which I don't know who you're going to find at this point of the year. If you're going to find somebody at this point of the year, they suck.
Yeah.
Like you're not finding anybody worthwhile right now in mid-May. I think right now you've got to just kind of put all your eggs in the hopefully Jared Triolo hits the ground running and you can go with him. And he's at least passable on offense to give you someone at the position who can play it. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
I'm completely with you. I think at this point, that's the only option they have left aside from playing Brian Hayes there. That's it.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the other one. That is the other option. Hayes would probably bring stability to the position because I have no doubt in my mind that Hayes would be a fine, probably a good to great defensive shortstop. I mean, just with the skills that we see him possess at third base, they should translate to third to short. But I just don't see that happening. I don't see them moving Hayes off of third. So yeah, we're just stuck. We're stuck right now.
No, and there's not even an option.
Play the position.
There's not even like a Gift and Gope down there that can just come up and play shortstop defensively.
Yeah, you would.
Austin Hedges. There's nothing like that either.
Yeah, like you would hope that like Peguero would kind of be that guy, but he again has shown he can't play shortstop. He can't play shortstop in Double-A. So I have I'm not going to stick Peguero at shortstop on a major league team right now. Like they got me fired up tonight.
I know. what was his name? Pedro Siriaco? What's that guy up to?
Pedro Siriaco. Jeez.
Like,
no, I mean, I'm almost to the point where like I've almost seen enough poor shortstop play at this point that I'm ready to just say pencil in Chris Owings' name in the position every night. I don't care if he can't hit. Tucupita Marcano can't hit anyways, so like he's getting some shortstop playing time. Just like Chris Owings play shortstop every night because at least he can play the position. And then what you've got to do is you can't have too many black holes in this lineup. You've got to make a move behind the plate. You can't have Austin Hedges start 5 times a week. You can't do it.
You really can't. You can't have 2 Austin Hedges in a lineup. And at this point, it's almost what they have to do.
Yeah.
Because Austin Hedges is not being moved. He's got at least another month up here of playing 5 times a week. They're going to have to, at some point, go with a defensive guy at short. If it's not Triolo, at this point, I think they have to make a deal for some AAA shortstop that can't hit his weight and can just pick a baseball. At this point, that's it. I don't know what else you can do, Jim.
What's Kevin Newman up to? Where have you gone, Kevin Newman? That's where we're at.
They can hit lefties, kind of. Jesus. Remember when I said that I would rather just hang on to Kevin Newman? Here we are.
I said it too. All right.
Here we are, man.
Also, Miguel Andujar. I'm sick and tired of him swinging. He's swinging out of his shoes. He's falling over when he makes contact, and it's like an 8-mile-an-hour dribbler to the second baseman every time.
What's he so bad?
He's awful.
His swing is one of the ugliest swings I think I've ever seen. He is hacking at everything. He has no idea where the ball's at. He's just swinging. And he might get hot every now and then because some dumb pitcher just leaves it right down the middle a bunch of times. But if it's anywhere else, he can't touch a baseball. He's terrible.
He's awful. Like he's so bad.
He's
so bad. He pinch hit for Austin Hedges, and I honestly I think I would have rather had Hedges bad.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean, why is Miguel Andujar your first option off the bench here?
If you're gonna put delay in the game anyways, let delay.
Just let delay hit. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Is it just because Jason Delay is supposed to not be able to hit? Because we know Miguel Andujar cannot.
Yeah, if Jason Delay's not supposed to hit, what is Miguel Andujar supposed to do?
Well, he had a good 2018, so he's been like a 50% below average hitter since then for 5 years. But at one point, he hit a few baseballs far.
Yeah, I mean Palacios. I can't with these guys. Somehow this is a 21-18 ball club. It's May 12th. We should be feeling good. We should be happy. If you would have told me opening day this team would be 21-18 on May 12th, I would be thrilled. And it's just they're making me so angry because we should be happy right now. But instead, we're watching some of the worst baseball I've ever seen. And we've watched some really bad baseball. We've watched really bad baseball with this team in the last few years. And I can't remember a stretch where they lost 10 of 11. Maybe in 2020 it happened, when they were just truly dreadful. But this is bad. And it's just bad baseball. It's not that it's frustrating because the pitching is holding up. The starting pitching today again did their job. And then it was just all thrown away there at the end of the game. It's just the same thing every day.
And they're striking out in a third of their at-bats all of a sudden. You can't strike out as much as this team is right. They struck out 12 times a day. Yesterday, they struck out 13 times. Who the hell was the guy on the mound for the Orioles today? I can't even remember his name.
It was Kyle Bradish.
Bradish, that was it. That guy.
Yeah.
He's terrible.
Yeah, he's not good.
He's off. It's not like they're getting shut down by like that Rays series. I can get that. Sometimes the pitcher's just better. Some guy named Kyle Bradish. I don't know the guy's name.
Oh, Kyle Bradish.
Yeah, that.
That's how you pronounce it.
That guy with like a 5.5 ERA through 5 innings of 1-run ball. Is that what he ended up with?
Six innings, actually.
Oh, he went 6.
1-run
Perfect.
ball.
Even better.
So 6 innings of 1-run ball. Struck out 6, walked 1, gave up 3 hits. And the run was unearned anyway. So
I would be complaining if Kyle Bradish. Yeah. If he was on the Pirates, I would be complaining.
Yeah.
And he just twirled 6 innings of 1-run ball. Sweet. Real fun. And they struck out 12 times today.
Yeah.
They are first in strikeouts in May. And second to last in home runs.
Makes
you
sense.
do not win many baseball games that way.
On the bright side, I want to say a couple good things about this team before we leave. Connor Joe crushed that baseball, to give them the lead there in the 7th inning. 410 feet down the left field line, kind of curled around the foul pole there. His 5th home run of the year. Jack Swinsky had 2 hits.
G1 Bay had 2 hits.
Dowry Moretta looked good. Dowry Moretta looked really good. And he's looked really good all month long. It's a shame that he's pitched in a bunch of losses because I feel like he's done a really good job of like coming in when there's been a mess and keeping the ball club in the game. And he's done it. This is now 6 straight scoreless appearances from him where he came in for the starter, cleaned up a mess, kept the team in the game.
How many inherited runners has he allowed?
Today was his first. He was 11 for 11. He was 11 for 11 going into today on stranding base runners. Today he allowed his first one, and there was no outs runner on third. Just kind of gonna happen, but he's been impressive. Like they may have something there. The slider apparently, Joe Block was reading some stats off during the broadcast, but he's got like a top 10 slider in baseball in terms of whiff rate. So like people aren't catching up to his slider, and the fastball is not like crazy stuff wise, not velocity. I mean, the velocity on this fastball is like 95 on average. Yeah. So he's just putting it all together, which is nice to see.
Yeah, he pitched well. Not long ago, I was saying that he might be on my block to be shipped out of town. He's moved up in the rankings. He's safe for a little while. Let's get rid of Dwayne Underwood Jr. first.
How about Austin Hedges too? Can we get rid of him?
But really, they desperately need another guy in this bullpen to step up. They got to have that like 6th, 7th inning guy.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else?
No. We went a half hour about this.
Yeah. Pirates lose 6-3. They drop 10 of 11. Back at it tomorrow. It is a night game tomorrow. We've got Roansy Contreras against Tyler Wells. Also, tomorrow, by the way, we did it like once or twice last year. But tomorrow, NS9 game day. We're actually going to be live during the game. You'll be able to interact with us, watch the game with us. see our live reactions to the stupid stuff that we're going to do. We have some guests lined up as well, so we'll keep that a secret for now, but we got some guests lined up to join us during the game. But yeah, it'll be fun. NS9 game day tomorrow, 7:05, Pirates, Orioles. Means we won't have a post game because we'll be just sitting talking for 2.5 hours, but come join us for that. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, hopefully. Because I don't know if I can sit through another one of these clunkers. I don't know if I want to be on camera during another one of these clunkers.
Yeah, that's true. But hey, on the bright side, you'll get to see us all. We can all freak out together when Austin Hedges grounds into a double play in the 7th inning with the tying run on 3rd.
And then he's followed up by Miguel Andujar. Peace
out,
all right. Scouts.
We're out. See you all.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.